Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. It's time for another crafty podcast. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. In the past, I have done or tried to do monthly craft podcasts where I share all of my projects that I have in progress. That includes quilting and knitting, crochet, cross stitch, yarn spinning, pretty much whatever I am up to. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into today's video, make sure that you like this video and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into today's podcast. So let's start out with our quilting because I have a few fun quilting projects to share with you. Some are right here on the tree behind me, but we're going to start out with our 2023 Sew With Me series of blocks. So last year we did a Sew With Me and you guys all loved it. So did I. We sewed through a ton of our scraps and we ended up with really cute quilt, pillow, and table runner projects at the end. So we're going to do the same thing this year. This year I'm doing a red and white theme. And so I'm just going to quickly show these. You've already seen this video, but here are my block number ones for our sew along for this year. And so this is my large quilt block. We're going to be doing those in the red and white theme. And then this is my smaller quilt block. And I was originally going to match them. And then after I made this first one, I thought, you know what? I love Christmas. I'm going to do all my small blocks in Christmas fabric. This one actually looks just fine with the other blocks that I have. So I'm going to leave this one red and white. But from here on out, you're going to see this little one being red, white, and green. So these are really fun. These are totally free patterns and tutorials that I do here on YouTube. If you missed the first one, you can check it out. I did create a 2023 Sew With Me playlist here on YouTube, and they'll all just pop up there as they release. They're releasing once per month. They're going to be going live here on YouTube on the second Thursday of the month. There will be a link below the video that goes to my blog post with all the details, the fabric I'm using. I also gave you full fabric requirements for the entire sew along so that you can plan ahead. And then there's also a link on my blog for a PDF download. Now, I know some of you have had a hard time downloading those patterns, and I do apologize. We're working on figuring out what the issue is because they're downloading okay for us on our computers and on our phones. Whether it's a Mac or a PC, they're downloading just fine. One solution that I do have for you is if when you click the download button, nothing happens, you can try and right-click that and then select Save File As if you're on a PC, or Download Linked File if you're on a Mac, and that'll actually just save the PDF to your computer, and then you can open it and use it. If you're on a phone, it should be going straight into your Downloads folder, so you might need to search your phone for the file. I'm not exactly sure how Androids and Samsungs work, but that's how it works for an iPhone. So we are working to try and make sure that everyone can get those. And if you really are still struggling, feel free to send me an email and we'll see if we can get the PDF to you some other way. But that is one of the first things I wanted to share was our Sew With Me. These blocks are going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what you guys are making and your color combos. The next quilty thing I have is our February House of the Month block. We are releasing these blocks once a month, and you have probably already seen this video as well. If you haven't, you're getting a sneak peek, and it will be releasing probably right after this video. But this one is really cute. The house features cute little heart on the top, and then there's a patchworky heart quilt hanging on some poles next to the house, and of course it's got the month on there. Now I did want to mention, if you did the truck sew along with us last year and you did them all as wall hangings, you want to do something different this year, this section right here is perfect for a pillow. So if you just cut off the month section, you can just use the house section and create a different pillow each month. That would be really, really cute. I don't have time to make 2 of these every month, so I am just going to do the wall hanging because that's what the pattern is for, but it would be really easy to change that top half into a pillow. The fabric that I used is called Sophie by Brenda Riddle, and it's just such a fun, sweet print. And then here is the backing fabric, and it is just so cute. This might be one of my all-time favorite prints because it is just so sweet. And then of course I'm a sucker for gingham binding, so I did do gingham binding on that, and then I added this cute little heart label on there as well, which is so adorable. It says handmade on the other side. It came in one of my Sew sampler boxes. So again, these are releasing every month. These are going to be releasing the 15th of each month. So the February one is releasing January 15th, and then February 15th, the March one will release, and so on. And that way gives you a few weeks to sew them before the new month gets here. And yeah, I think they're just going to be so much fun. So the houses are all going to be a little bit different. And of course the designs on them will be different as well. And each quilt that's near the house will be different. However, they will all have the same theme of a house with a cute little quilt hanging somewhere near or on the side of the house blocks. And just as a quick review, if you missed it, here is the January Quilty House. This one is a lot of fun. It's got a snowflake quilt hanging on the side of the house, kind of in Barnstar style. It was really cute. For this one, I used my Bonnie and Camille fabrics. All the information is in the blog post for this particular quilt. And this one is just a lot of fun. And like I said, each house is going to be a little bit different, but they will all include a house and some sort of quilty quilt hanging on or near the house. And then of course you've got your January on the bottom. So that's gonna be it. These are finishing at the same size as last year, so they finish at 20 inches by 24 inches. And let's go ahead and take a look at the fun project on my tree behind me. So these are a Quilt As You Go hearts, and I just took a handful of fabric scraps and some batting and then some backing fabric, and I just quilted these together as you went. I do have a template for this pattern, a little heart template you can download, and then you can just trace that on there, cut them out with pinking shears, sew around the edges so they don't come apart on you, and hang them up. You can either put them on a tree, or you could also put them on like a string of ribbon or rope or something to make a cute little bunting for your sewing room. I think when I'm tired of having my tree in here, that's probably what I'm going to do with these. And I was thinking, you know, maybe I should do something similar for each month or season. Maybe like each main season, do some kind of cute little mini project you could do to help decorate your craft room. So that is on my upcoming to-do list. So hold me accountable if I forget to do those for you guys. But I thought the hearts would be really cute. And then I even made a larger one. This one is, how big is it? It's about 6 by 6-ish. And this is the perfect size for a little mug rug. So my cup can fit right here, and maybe a little snack or my glasses or whatever. So I have this sitting on my desk, and then I have a tree with all of these. And the video tutorial shows you how to just use your scraps to put them all together. So each one of the hearts back here is completely different, and it's really easy, but you kind of sew them all at once using this method. So it made the assembly and process really fast and enjoyable, and you can just kind of have fun grabbing through your scraps no matter what size they are, sewing them together, and creating a fun fabric that you can then use to cut out all of your little heart shapes from. So these are just a lot of fun to put together, and if you missed this tutorial, head back to my channel and check it out. I also wanted to point out the Happy Granny quilt right here behind me on the wall behind me. I created this last January in honor of my husband's grandma who passed away. She was the happiest granny of all, and so of course I am hanging it up in my room every January in her honor. This is a pattern in my shop, and I will make sure to link it below, but it's also a really great quilt to have hanging around Valentine's Day. Okay, that's it for all of the quilty things that I can share with you at this point in time. Let's move into some of my stitchy items because they kind of go with the quilty items. So let's start out with reviewing the January Stitchy House of the Month. Here's what it looks like. Hopefully you guys have all seen it. This released December 15th actually, so I just haven't podcasted since then, so I did want to make sure to go ahead and show it in case any of you missed it. These houses, again, like the quilty versions, are all going to be a little bit different, but they also all include a cute little quilt next to them, and of course the month. And this one has some fun snowflakes on there. There's a snowflake hanging from your little end block down here, and just a cute little cottage style house with, of course, some smoke coming out of the chimney there. For this one, I did finish it with this 1/4 inch rickrack from Lori Holt, and then this fabric is actually a Lori Holt fabric also. I did finish the back of it just like our other ones from last year, and then I will be reusing the little paddle that they go on each month and just swapping out my cross stitch. So here is the February Stitchy House version, and as you can see, it's a really cute little pink house with hearts floating in the sky. There's berries in the tree. There's an adorable quilt hanging on the fence, and of course your month. I finished it the same way as last month's with the rickrack and then some fabric, and this fabric is actually a poppy cotton print. I think this is from their Snuggle Up Buttercup Christmas line this last year. It was just really cute, and it matched my vibe, so I went ahead and used that. And of course you've got the magnets and the washers so that we can just clip it onto the paddle, and then it is ready to go. So I can just keep this paddle and swap it out every month. I did show this for the January one, but just in case you need the item number, you can screenshot this. It's from Hobby Lobby. It was 50% off when I got it, and here, down here, is the item number. And if you look that up online, last time I checked, they did still have some on their website. Of course, you know, I never know what they're gonna have in stock or not, but that is the one that I used. All right, that's gonna be it for cross stitch. Let's go ahead and move into my knitting and crochet. So I'm going to kick it off with a shawl that I started around November or December of 2022, so just like a month or two ago. It's called the Flatiron Shawl by Toni Lipsey of TL Yarn Crafts. So aside from the fact that my printer is horrible, I apologize, the shawl is actually really pretty, and I love the color she chose and the fade aspect that is going on. I also love the shape of it. Just looked like a really fun, kind of mindless project, but with a big payoff. That said, I'm actually struggling a little bit with it because I am not enjoying the process as much as I thought I did, and I'll kind of show you why, and maybe you'll have some tips. So here's the yarn that I've chosen. This one is called Macaroon by Legacy Fiber Arts. This is Dainty by Western Sky Knits. And then for a pop of color, I added in this super hot pink, which I thought would be kind of a really fun surprise. This one is called Shut the Front Door by Emma's Yarns. She has really cool yarns and just lots of fun colors. This one might be a little bit much with the other two that I had going on, but I was actually kind of excited just to see the color combo. And if you look at her pattern, her last or third color is actually pretty dark as well, and she had a speckle in the middle and then a really light one on the end. So I thought these would work together really well, and I still am sort of excited about this color combo. I'm just not 100% as excited about the project itself. So here is how far I am, and it's really easy. The project is really easy, but for some reason these stitches are a little bit, I'm not sure if it's just boring, so I don't want to work on it. The stitches aren't that exciting or change enough that it's like I just keep going and doing the same thing over and over. And part of me wanted a mindless project, so that's a little bit on me. But then also for some reason, it's not as mindless as it seems. The stitches are all the same, but getting my needle or hook into these tiny little stitches for each one is a little bit of a struggle. So I might be crocheting a little bit too tight of a gauge. Maybe I should go up to a larger needle size so it would be a little bit looser and I could get into it a little bit better. But I definitely have to sit there and kind of, focus and get through that stitch, do my stitch, and then focus, get through the stitch. And so it's just taking me, so I'm not sure, it's just not quite been as enjoyable as I was hoping it was going to be, but I still, again, really love the end product. So I haven't just completely decided to frog this and start over. I think it might also be the yarn. This yarn from Legacy Fiber Arts is a little bit, it's soft, but it is a little bit sticking to itself in some respects. And so that might be part of my issue getting my hook through. Maybe I need to try a different material of hook. I'm using my Clover Armour hooks. They look like this. This isn't the actual one I'm using. Mine is like a darker blue, but my daughter is borrowing it. But usually these tips I love. This material, whatever this is usually pretty good about sliding through different yarns. And so I'm not sure. I might try a different one and see if that helps the process. But right now this project is sort of on hold. It's like in progress, but on hold because I just haven't convinced myself if I'm going to be able to make it long-term on this project. And I don't want to say anything bad about the pattern. The pattern itself is really easy to read, and I think it has a beautiful end result. I think it's just me not fully enjoying the project. So my next project is a knitting project, and this is one that I have actually really enjoyed working on, and I've been spending most of my evenings working on this project. This one is called the Winter Wonderland Make Along. It was actually released in, I think, November or maybe even earlier of 2022, and it was a knit along for December. So the knit along is over. The entire shawl has been released, so I am going to show it to you. If you are behind like I am and don't want to see it, you can skip through this section, but all of the pictures are out there already, so you've probably all already seen it. I am keeping my pattern in my Coco Knits Makers board. This is a magnetic board, and it's got all kinds of magnetic goodies inside, and it just helps keep your patterns all organized, and I love this. It folds up and sits on your desk like this. I've just turned my pattern around so you can't see it, but it's got magnetic accessories that go with it. These are all different magnetic objects, and it helps hold stitch markers, and I've got my key to put on and off my circular needles on there, and then it just folds flat and goes in your bag. These can move around a little bit if you're not careful, so if you're using this to highlight a row you're on, you maybe want to use a piece of tape, or also I just kind of remember which row I'm on, but they can move around in your bag, so just be careful about that. But otherwise they're super handy, and I pretty much take this with me everywhere now because it's just a really great way to store my pattern and just make it really easy for me to read and keep track of what line I'm on. But let's go ahead and take a look at my progress on this shawl. So again, here's a spoiler, but I have finished the first half of the shawl. This shawl is an interesting construction because you actually sew one half of it, stop, sew the other half, and then join it down the middle. And I haven't got to that section yet, but I did finish one half of it. And so this is my first half, and it is kind of large, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. I don't know if I can fit it all on screen, but here is what it's looking like. It's a really cool construction. Now, I did have a little bit of a hard time getting this started because I really struggled with this first section of trees. For some reason, I got them off by one stitch and I had to rip it out and do it again. And then after I did that, I was actually doing this in a different color order. And I saw a picture online of someone using my same yarn, and I really liked their color order better. The way that I was doing it, this whole gray section right here was going to be this dark section, and the dark lines were going to be this white color. And so the shawl was really dark with the white stripes, and I saw this one where it was the light colors with the dark stripes, and I really preferred that. So I actually ripped out this tree section a third time, redid it in the lighter color, and then switched so I'm using the dark color for these stripes. And then here is kind of where it comes together in the center. There's a big snowflake looking thing, and this is just a quarter of that snowflake. And then one other thing that I wanted to show you, I will put information on all the yarn that I'm using below here. It was a kit that I purchased, and so you can look online and you'll see others who have used the same exact yarn and see what their finished product looks like. But one thing I wanted to show you is once you're done with this first half, you have to put it on some sort of stitch holders. And so I am using these, I think they're called the Stitch Barber. And I'll show you more about this when we get to my acquisitions because it's really cool. It's a new to me product. And I'm just loving how useful it is because now I can actually pull out this shawl. I can see what it's looking like. I can, when it's on your needles, you can't quite straighten it out like this. Obviously it needs to be blocked. But anyways, I can actually have it on these, know that it's not going to come off, and work on my other half. And it also frees up the cable that I was using for this half so I can use it on the other half. So this is the half that I finished, and then this is the start of the second half. And so I am getting ready now to change into another color. I've done that kind of main bottom section there. For this one, I did get some new needles, and I will share those as well in my acquisitions. But this one's on my Likey blush needles. These have been really fun to work with simply because they're pink. I haven't decided yet if they're my favorite needles or not because the cord is a little bit finicky. But I'm hoping that with time it will relax and all will be well. Other than that, the needles are kind of fun, but I'll show you those up close in just a minute. But that is the progress I've made on my Winter Wonderland MCal. And then here are all four of my color choices that I chose. They are all Amble yarn, and they have a couple different colorways. I will put, like I said, all that information below in the description box below so you can get all of that info there. But I've made really good progress on that, and I'm doing that pretty much in the evenings or whenever we go to our knit meetings. We have one on Tuesdays and we have one on Fridays, and so we get together with some friends and just hang out and knit and chat. So that's what I've been working on during those, and I'm really excited about all the progress that I've made on it, and it's just been really enjoyable. It's semi-mindless, but not really because you're constantly switching to a new section, and so I really like that about it. Every time you're kind of getting bored, like this section right here was sort of boring, but now I'm already moving on to a new section. And so it does take some mind power. Some of the sections, they're a little bit more intricate and you're doing little designs, so you do have to pay attention. It's not completely mindless, but now that I have the basis of the structure down, that part's pretty easy, and it's a lot easier for me to see if I've messed up and fix things before I get too far along, like with the tree section. Anyways, I'm really enjoying knitting on that and spending my time on that in the evenings. So that's it for my knit and crochet progress. We're going to jump into acquisitions and new products from Fat Quarter Shop. So Fat Quarter Shop sent me some fun new things to share with you. This first one is called Blank Foundation 12-inch square blank foundation paper. Unlock your creativity. And they have instructions on how to create your own patterns. So it's actually just blank paper. They do have some ideas for you on how to use the paper. You can basically draw your own designs on here and then use the paper to sew them up. And I think that's actually a really fun idea because it allows you to be creative and do your own thing as opposed to following a pre-made thing. Now, To be honest, this scares me a little bit because I already struggle with foundation paper piecing myself. It's not my favorite thing to do. I do know how to do it. I just don't particularly choose to sew that way because it's a lot mentally for me. So the thought of making my own is also a little bit scary, but I kind of like the idea of it. So this might be on my bucket list of things to tackle this year. They also released these. This came out in one of our Sew Sampler boxes. These are their Triangle on a Roll stickers. They're color coded, so you can, if you have a lot of their Triangle on a Roll papers, you can label them with these so you can grab the size that you need easily. They're all color coded by size, and they're like washi tape, so you can put them on and off and reuse them, which I think is a really cool idea. Gives you a great way to keep those rolls like taped together and rolled up so they aren't coming apart and making a mess in your sewing room. They also recently released this. This is the dog ear clipper. This is actually a really cool tool when you're doing half square triangles. Sorry, you use this ruler to trim them before you open and press them. And right here on these corners, you'll see that you just trim off those dog ears. That way, when you press your triangles open, they're perfect and ready to go. Now that's probably a great product to use with the Triangle on a Roll paper because your triangles, your half square triangles will already be the right size. If you're like me and you sew your half square triangles a little bit larger, I usually make 2, 4, or even sometimes 8 half square triangles at a time. I make mine a little bit larger so that I can trim them down so they're always perfect every time. This tool probably isn't all that helpful, but if you are using the paper or sewing your half square triangles at exactly the size they need to be, then I could see how this would come in handy. The next 2 little things they sent me are so cute. This is a Rooster needle minder. This is adorable. They are magnetic, and so you can use these on your cross stitch, or even if you're binding a quilt. Like I said, they're magnetic, so they'll hold your needle in place if you have to step away. And then they also sent this really cute little unstitcher. It's just red. Actually, the packaging is super cute with the gingham back there, and it's basically just a seam ripper. All right, that's everything that Fat Quarter Shop sent me. Let me share a couple fun things that I got with you over the holiday season. This first one is what I just showed you on my shawl. That pink string is called the Knitting Barber, and it comes in a variety of colors. Of course, I got the pink one, and it's basically just this kind of rubber cording that you can use to hold your stitches. So if you're sewing a sweater or sleeves or anything like that, this is super helpful in the case of my shawl where I need to leave all those stitches on some kind of stitch holder and I need that cord for my other half of my shawl. These are perfect. They come in 3 of them in your kit. There's 2 30-inch ones and 1 60-inch one. The 60-inch one is the one that I had on my shawl already. It's super pliable, as you can see, and so you can just wrap it up, stick it in the container, and then just screw the lid on and you're ready to go. And like I said, they come in a variety of colors. I got the pink one, but you can see all the color options that they offer. And then if you're new to this product, like I was, here it is. Obviously, I just already showed you that. It's a perfect stitch holder. You can take it off and just tie these little pieces together so no stitches go anywhere. But it's also a little bit tacky, so my stitches aren't really sliding on it anyway, so I wouldn't really worry about it coming off. I'll probably still tie it in a knot as soon as I'm done showing you this. The tip of it's hollow, and so you take a needle or a DPN and then you can just push it on there, and I just grabbed one of the skinniest interchangeable needles that I had because that was what was near me, but you just can stick it on there. It sticks on pretty good, and I was nervous about it coming off, but you have to tug on it pretty good to get it to come off. And so when I was taking my stitches off my actual cable and just weaving these on, I just weaved a bunch of them on and then just pulled this through, weaved some more on, pulled it through until they were all safely on to my cable. And like I said, this one's a 60-inch cable, so I would not be able to really show you. Like, you still can't even see the ends. So once you're done, you can just pop off your needle, tie it, and you can also cut these, by the way, if this one is too long or you need more. Just tie it in a little knot, just like that, and then it's going to hold your project secure for you. And then you can just toss this in your bag and not worry about it while you're working on your other projects. So I'm really excited about getting this. I've had this on my bucket list for a while. I've seen these all over the place, and I definitely wanted to get my hands on some, and I was at my local yarn shop today and actually managed to grab some. They had pink, so of course I was like, I'm all in, and I'm really glad that I got these. And the ladies at the knit shop were raving about it as well, saying that it was probably one of their new favorite products so far. The other little thing I got while I was there is this cute little Coco Knits tape measure. Now, it's adorable. It's pink, just like everything that I'm about to show you. My one suggestion for you, if you have been eyeballing these like I have, they look like little stones almost. They look like, you know, little speckled stones. They're really cute. I love the color, but the first one that I bought when I went to pull out my tape measure, it like stuck here, like it would not go back in, and there's no button or anything to release to pull it back in. So the tape measure itself doesn't stick. Like when you pull it out, it doesn't stick. As soon as you let go of it, it goes back in, or at least it's supposed to. Mine didn't. And the further I pulled it out, the further out it got, like stuck there. So I actually had to take it back and exchange it for this one. So if you do buy one of these, I highly suggest taking it out of the package first, making sure it works before you get all the way home and realize that you got one that didn't work. So hopefully that was just my bad experience and you guys won't have that. But I did think it was fair to mention that they don't lock out like in place. You have to hold them where you want them when you're done. Hopefully if you get one that works, it will roll itself back up. But it was really cute, and my local yarn shop was having a huge sale. They were having a 30% off sale, which was awesome. And so I got this next item because I have been eyeing these as well. And those are the Lykke or Lykke, however you want to say it, blush needles. So obviously it comes in this beautiful kind of suede, it's faux leather, but it feels suede-y case. And then when you open it up, it's got all pink needles inside, which I love. I also suggest opening these up if you're going to buy them, because some of the comments that I have seen on these needles is that they're not all consistent in color because they are, you know, painting or somehow dyeing this wood. And so some people were getting some that were brown or orangey tinted. And so I did open mine to make sure that I like the color of all the needles. It does Velcro on here. So I'm still not 100% sure. Maybe you wrap up cords and keep them back here. I'm not sure why it's doing that because there's just Velcro on the other side. So if you know, let me know. That was the only thing I could think of, was that you could maybe keep cords behind there. But also in here is this little container, and this is where all of the cables are. And so of course, just like anything, it comes with cables, it comes with stoppers, it comes with the little keys to put them on and off. And interesting, it looks like it comes with a couple of replacement, these things right here. What are those? They look like they're replacements in case they fall off of your smaller needles. Maybe they're to make your join a little bit longer. I don't know. If you know what those are, let me know. I probably should have looked that up on the website. I just now noticed they're in there. But they have the stoppers in there, and then they also have their cables in there. They have shorter, you know, different variety of sizes of cables. So far I'm actually really loving these. Like I said, I'd been eyeing these. Oh, and then there's a little zipper pocket up here in the front for things too. It doesn't come with anything in there, but you could keep something in there. So like I said, I've actually been eyeing these needles mainly because they're pink, and I'm definitely on a pink kick here if you haven't noticed. So everything I've purchased this past season has been some level of pink. So I guess it's my thing for 2023. Like I said, they're kind of expensive, and I wasn't 100% sure on this set, mainly because of the cords. Normally I use ChiaoGoo. They are called red lace interchangeables, and those cords are phenomenal. They have steel braided cable core, and so they don't hold any memory. So when you pull those cables out, they're just flat as can be. When you pull these cables out, they're spiral and they're like a plastic, and so they have a memory like that. And so the idea of keeping them spiraled up and held in here doesn't really work so much for me, because I hate feeling like I'm fighting with my cable because it wants to twist its own way. I want it to go the way it needs to go. And so that I'm not crazy about, but the pink color I love, and the fact that they were 30% off, like through January 1st, I think, I went ahead and grabbed a set of them, and I love having them. They're fun to work with. The needle tips themselves are great. They're not super sharp. They're also not super dull. So I like the material. I like the feel of wood in my hands, so you know, I like all of that. It's just the cords that I'm a little bit struggling with. Now, I know that you can put those cords in, like dunk them in boiling water, and they'll kind of relax out, and then a friend of mine says she actually just hangs them, and so she keeps her cords all hung by size. So I think that's a great idea. It's just not super practical for travel, because when you're traveling with these or taking them to, you know, like knit days and things like that, you want your cables in here in case you need them, and if they're all coiled up, then they kind of have that memory. So that would be the only criticism I have about this set, but otherwise, I love the case. It's really great quality, and so far I've really enjoyed these needles. They're beautiful and they're pink, and so I'm making a little bit of sacrifice in the cord area so that I can knit with pink needles. Here's an example of that. My ChiaoGoo needles just hang, and then here are these cables that have been, you know, they have a memory. It is what it is. So I'll be working on that, and pretty much before I use these, I do soak them in hot water just to kind of you know, and I try and dry them or cool them flat. So far the coil is coming back as I'm working on my shawl. So, and then I think the last few things I have to show you are all pink as well. So let's just get going. I already showed this one. This is by Emma's Yarn. This is for that Toni Lipsey flat iron shawl that I am working on. Again, this was called Shut the Front Door by Emma's Yarns. This is the dyer of the Advent that I opened during Vlogmas. So if you saw any of that, she is the dyer of this yarn. And I mean, obviously it's soft. Look at it. It's just like flipping around. I also got this one. This is another Emma's Yarn. This is one of her slub yarns. This one is in Poppin' colorway, and it's just a really fun kind of bubblegum pink. I think this is going to be a hat. I'm thinking also about mixing it with a pink suri, so it's got a little bit of a fuzzy halo plus the bubbles pops. I haven't decided yet. If you guys have any good suggestions for a slub yarn like this, leave them in the comments below because I would love to hear them, but I am leaning towards maybe a hat, or who knows, maybe I'll put it in a shawl. Maybe I'll put it in the flat iron shawl that I'm doing with Toni Lipsey, and maybe it'll just be like a pop of texture in between the speckled and the super hot pink. I don't know. That's definitely a thought. And honestly, if I did that, it's possible I'd still have enough left over to make a beanie. So, that's something to consider. And then this last one is probably my favorite. This is from Chelsea Luxe Yarn. This is her Frozen colorway sock kit. This came out during Vlogmas, and I happened to be watching an episode of her Vlogmas, and she was like, I'm releasing these tomorrow. If you want one, get on it. And so as soon as they released, I hopped on and I thought, do I really want it? And then I was like, yes. So I went ahead and got it. And I'm really glad that I did because I checked back a few hours later and they were completely sold out. This may or may not be a colorway she continues to dye. I don't know. She tends to have some that are staples and some that she just dyes a few times and then moves on to something else. So I was really excited that I actually got one of these. This is a sock kit, but I think I'm going to be making a beanie with it. So I'm going to be using this pink color for the brim and maybe some stripes in it. I haven't decided yet. And then this will be for the main body. So here is all of my new purchases, acquisitions for this year. So at this point, I think it's pretty fair to say that January for me has been all about the pink. Since it's near Valentine's Day, I also wanted to share some of my previous Valentine's projects that I thought you might enjoy. So of course, last year we did a February quilty truck of the month and a February stitchy truck of the month. Both are very cute. They feature fun patchwork hearts and just a lot of fun for decorating for Valentine's Day. I also have the Sweethearts quilt. This one is one of my favorite quilts. It's so fast to put together. It's mini charm friendly, and those little patchwork hearts are just adorable. I also have a lot of fun DIY projects that are great for kids, gifts for teachers, gifts for friends on my website as well. I will put a link below, and I'm going to be sharing a few of those here on the screen as well, but you can always stop by my blog and just search Valentine's and all of these fun projects will show up. So that's pretty much everything that I've been working on and all of my new projects coming in. I have a lot of fun things coming up this year. We've got our 2023 Sew With Me series for both cross stitch and quilting. We've got our House of the Month for quilts, and then I have a lot of fun projects here for you on YouTube as well that will be coming soon. So if you haven't already, please make sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming fun. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a wonderful month, and I will see you next time. So let's start out with our quilting projects because these recently released, and that is going to be my 2020. I should probably, this is bright, holy moly. There's so many people walking by and the dog is just like insane. What are those called? Snowflakes. What is it called? The Adventurer Shawl? Okay, that's it for cross stitch. Let's go ahead and move in to the crochet. And then I thought for a pop of color, whoops, if you're like me and you tend to sew your half square triangles a little bit big, okay.